I've put nearly $3,000 into trying to start a business with this full-color UV printer. My first business idea, printed Paws, has, well, flatlined. The local market event flopped, and the online Etsy store after many months has gotten 0 sales. But then word got out about my full-color abilities and real paying customers started showing up. That is, until my machine decided to stop working at the worst possible time. Big thanks to eufyMake for making this video possible. In the end, will I ever earn my money back? Or yet again just end up with some painful business lessons? In today's video, we find out how it's all going with the eufyMake E1 UV printer, and if I will ever take this business venture and make it profitable. Before we go any further, I do want to give a quick update on the current situation with the eufyMake E1. I've personally held off on making more videos about this machine because I know a lot of people have been waiting on their orders to be delivered, especially the ink. And let's be honest, without ink, this thing is basically a paperweight. But as of filming this, eufyMake has stated that machines and ink sets are now fully in stock. And I've actually tested that myself. I've placed an order for a full ink set on May 6th, and it actually showed up just 6 days later.
Look what just arrived. Hello there. Oi. Okay. Up.
So, at least from my experience, those in-stock claims seem to be true. I've also checked the expiration dates on the ink, and they still had about 8 to 9 months of shelf life left.
I believe their dating system is day, month, year. So this would be February 8th, 2027.
Which is not quite the 12 months we want, but definitely understandable considering it's coming across the ocean before it gets to the local distributors. This is a big win for eufyMake's reputation. Because if you're like me and you're trying to run a business with something like this, you need to know you can restock quickly. And now it finally sounds like supply has caught up with the demand, and we can get what we need when we need it. Now, before we start, I want this to be real. This is not one of those fake, I made $100,000 passively in my garage type of videos. This is the actual messy version. Wins, losses, bad ideas, good clients, machine issues, and what it might really look like to turn this thing into a profitable tool for my business. But here's where we stand today. In my previous video, you saw the machine cost $2,300, $400 for the portable power station, $120 for some wooden panels, $20 for some tablecloths, $40 for the vendor fee, and now I've added $140 for this metal shelving that I'm using inside the garage to keep things organized. So that total investment so far is $3,020. And now I still have one question. Can I make my money back? So I launched my first UV printing business. It was called Printed Paws, inspired by my hairless cat Norman. The idea was custom pet portraits printed on wood panels. Honestly, I thought it was genius. People love pets, people love gifts, people spend irrational money on animals. This should have worked. So I paid for a local vendor market, set everything up, beautiful booth, good attitude, and about 20 people came through. Sales made, 0. Not low sales, not one sale. I said 0. Then I thought, no problem. An online Etsy store will save me. So I set all that up, ran Etsy ads with a daily budget of $25, and 7 months later, all I have is 4,400 views, 42 clicks, 0 orders, 0 revenue. But thankfully, I only spent $11.44 on the Etsy ads. At this point, I had to face reality. Maybe people didn't want AI stylized pet portraits as much as I thought. Maybe no reviews scared buyers away. Whatever the reason, Printed Paws was basically dead. And now I had $3,000 into all of this and nothing to show for it. Then I got an email from a local school. They needed trophies for a car show fundraiser. Deadline, 9 days. So naturally, zero pressure. They wanted 20 small trophies and 1 large trophy. I quoted $30 for each small and $80 for the large. The total would be $680. It might have been the time crunch, but they accepted immediately. Now we're in business. I designed the trophies using Inkscape, a free design software. I mocked up the size with a Coke can for scale and sent that off to them for review. They liked the designs and approved it. So then I took some acrylic and cut it out with my CO2 laser. Then came the fun part. Using the E1, I printed the graphics on the backside of clear acrylic, mirrored the image, and printed CMYK and then white. This puts the color down first and then puts a white background on it. So when it's viewed from the front, it looks like it's embedded inside the acrylic.
Oh yeah, that looks good.
Very clean, very professional, very, I know what I'm doing, even when I barely did. Now, one issue I ran into at the time was using SVG files. The imports were giving me alignment problems, but I found out that PNG files worked flawlessly.
I did convert that SVG to a PNG. I think that really simplified things.
And this could have just been an early bug that's probably fixed at this point. The school loved the trophies.
All right, this was the last batch.
They picked them up and said to expect more orders in the future. So I got paid $680. We got to minus the materials and the ink usage, and that gives us about $655. So we're making progress, finally. That puts our remaining balance at $2,376. Seeing some money come in is such a relief. Then I got contacted by a famous woodworking YouTuber. I'm talking serious YouTube numbers. And this guy owns more track saws than my local Home Depot. He wanted a custom printed license plate cover for filming. I made it, printed it, shipped it, it looked great, he used it, it appeared in videos. Payment? Well, that never happened. So after materials and shipping, I somehow lost money helping out a YouTuber. That's show business. So that sends us back down to $2,396. Then I got contacted by somebody that wanted to start a recurring business. But here's the problem. I can't show it. I can't reveal it. I can't discuss it in detail. I've asked, trust me, many times, but it's not going to happen. So let's just pretend I was printing puzzles. And let's say they're double-sided puzzles. About 20 minutes to print on each side. There is assembly, there's packaging, and shipping. I get paid about $20 for each one. If my count is correct, I have completed about 46 of these. With an ink cost of about 25 cents each, that leaves me with around $908 in profit. It's not glamorous, it's not viral, but sometimes this is how real businesses work. Repeatable jobs with reasonable margins. With this, I'm not paying for anything except for the ink and my time. Now with this job done, that brings our total down to just $1,488 in the hole. And then came the biggest opportunity yet. I got contacted by Garrison Brothers Distillery in High, Texas. They needed some custom prints on their metal labels. And before anyone asked, I wasn't given permission to show some of these early label designs. So if you see blur, weird camera angles, or me filming like I'm hiding government secrets, that's why. When someone trusts you with client work, you gotta protect it. They sent me a box of their metal labels. Different finishes, different coatings. My mission? Can the E1 produce labels worth using on a premium product? I made up these 60 samples and then I wanted to get them back as quickly as possible, so I paid for overnight shipping and that cost me $40. When they got them, they said they loved them. But they did notice an issue. These labels had a wax treatment on them to make them look aged. That coating made the prints easier to scratch off. Some pieces were falling off on their own, so we had to solve this adhesion problem. I cleaned them with acetone and then used the eufyMake adhesion promoter, which works extremely well. But I only had a few sample wipes, and at the time you could not buy these like you can now. So I had to find another solution. I instead cleaned them with acetone, and then I scuffed the surface with steel wool to create a mechanical bond between the metal labels and the resin ink. This made them essentially impossible to scratch off. Once we got that part figured out, then they placed their first order. 1,430 labels. Now this is a job that can really make a dent in paying off this machine. I got all those made up, sent off, and got paid. And with just $60 in estimated ink cost for those 1,430 labels, I'm left with $2,084, which blows us way past paying off my initial $3,000 investment. And now we are sitting at $552 in profit. After all this time, I can finally say that my UV printer business is finally profitable. Then, about a month later, they came back with another order. They needed just 250 labels this time. They said they were working on a tight deadline, and because I had done it before, I told them, no problem, I've got them covered. I was working on getting all of these made up for them, but then tragedy hit. My machine clogged up so badly, there was nothing I could do to get it flowing correctly again. I tried everything. I actually worked on it for days because I felt so bad that I told them, no problem, I got this job handled for them, I could take care of it. But I was helpless. This was early on, before the machines were in stock, before you could get anything. I had to let them know that there was nothing I could do at this time. And since they were on that time crunch, I really put them in a bad place. I felt terrible. At this time, eufyMake believed the original beta units that we were using had underpowered ink pumps. The newer production units were upgraded. So they had me send this machine back. And after some time, they did send me a new production unit. And that got me running again. The print quality on the new machine looked fantastic. So once I got things operational again, I reached back out to Garrison Brothers. Really just to apologize again, but also to let them know that I had a new machine, and if there was anything that they needed, I could help them out. I even sent over some photos of the new print quality and let them know the machine had been replaced. But then, about 2 months later, I got another email. They needed another batch of labels. 650 labels at $1.50 each. So I got them all done, shipped them out. After ink cost, that leaves us with an additional $948. Now, it didn't happen overnight. All of these jobs happened over the course of quite a long time. But at this point, I am in the green, $1,500. So, after all of this, would I still recommend the eufyMake E1? Honestly, yes. It has some quirks. It's a little slow. It's not perfect. But for my business, the ability to create full color custom products in-house has opened doors I didn't have before. Trophies, custom work, labels, client prototypes, one-off jobs, repeat orders, that matters. And if you're someone who can actually sell products, machines like this are not just toys, they become tools that can advance you to the next step. The biggest thing I learned after all of this, the machine was never the business. I was waiting for the printer to magically make money. That's not how it works. You need ideas, clients, persistence, problem solving, and the willingness to fail publicly a few times. Printed Paws failed. The market failed. Etsy failed. But I kept going, and eventually the right jobs found me. So after all the failures, the dead Etsy store, the failed market event, the machine issues, and all the trial and error, I officially made back my money. Actually, I'm now sitting at $1,500 in profit, which is about a 48% return on my investments into it all. And honestly, that feels really good to say. But I think the biggest thing I've learned from all of this is that no machine is ever the business. Not this printer, not my lasers, not my CNC, not any tool sitting in this workshop. Because at the end of the day, you can buy all the best equipment in the world, but if you don't learn to adapt, solve problems, take risk, fail, pivot, and keep pushing forward, none of it matters. The machine can create products, but only you can create opportunity. The eufyMake E1 UV printer is finally officially in stock and shipping. If you've been waiting to grab one, now's a great time as they're still offering the launch pricing plus over $400 in bonus gifts while supplies last. There's QR codes on the screen for more information and links to my other stuff. If this video helped you out, like, subscribe, and leave a comment. As always, I'm Chad from Chad's Custom Creations. Be encouraged, stay inspired, and keep on creating.
Dangerous times, don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love the world, but keep the sky